What is up, YouTube? I'm here with another Air Force video to answer your questions and your comments. So let's go. Now, both of these comments come from Facebook, and both of them actually kind of go together. So it's kind of cool. So thank you. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but cool. The first question comes from Evan, and Evan wants to know how the job selection works. You know, like if you select your job with your recruiter, how do you know before training, stuff like that. So when you first meet up with your recruiter, you do all the paperwork and then you go to MEPS, right? And you go through all the hassle with MEPS and you sign all the paperwork up there, and then you come back down. And when you meet your recruiter, then that is when your recruiter is going to talk to you about your jobs. And this is just with regular active duty. Reserves or National Guard, that's going to be like something different. So this is just regular active duty Air Force, right? You're going to come back down and your Air Force recruiter is just going to talk to you. They're going to say, you know, these are the jobs that we have available. Which job do you want? And if you don't like any of those jobs, then you don't have to pick any of those jobs. If you don't pick any of those jobs, then you just go in to basic training as something called an open, you know, as an open select or whatever it's called. So pretty much you go into basic training not knowing what your job's going to be, and I think it's about in 7th week of basic training, about 7th week of basic training, they just pretty much say, here's the job that you're going to have, so just deal with it, right? It's very cool and kind of fun when your recruiter hands you like the list, because they hand you the list and it's like the list of the jobs that are available and the descriptions and like the dates that that you're gonna leave for basic training. So you know they have like security forces, you know, like medical, or just there's all these jobs, and you're just kind of like, you know, which one do I get to pick? You know, it's kind of cool. A firefighter or whatever. So you know, you get to pick whatever you're interested in. So yeah, you do get to guarantee lock in your job before you leave for basic training. And when you leave for basic training, you'll know what job you have, when you're going to leave, what base you're going to after basic training. Yeah, and that's, I mean, yeah, I think that pretty much answers your question. The next question comes from Dawn, and Dawn asks, how long does it take to find out where you're going to be stationed after BMT? These two questions go hand in hand, because when you're with your recruiter before basic training selecting your job, when you actually say, okay, yes, I want to be security forces, your recruiter is going to say, okay, you know, you're going to do your 8 weeks at Lackland Air Force Base for basic training, and then you're going to do blah 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 weeks at Lackland Air Force Base for security forces for your tech school. Or in my case, when I was in the Air Force, you know, it was 8 weeks at Lackland Air Force Base for basic training, and then I went to Keesler Air Force Base for my tech school. And I already knew that before I shipped out for basic training. I already knew I was going to Texas for 2 months, and then I was going over to Mississippi. So I already knew that. As far as what happens after you leave tech school, you really have no idea until I don't know, maybe like a couple weeks, like 2 weeks before you get out of tech school, which base you're going to go to after tech school. But if you go in as like an open into basic training, as I said before, you have no idea where you're going to go after basic training if you go in as open. So you just kind of have to wait and see. But in most cases, the recruits, you know, select what job they want. They know where they're going before basic training. So I hope that answered everybody's question. To summarize, yes, you can lock in your job before you leave for basic training. And before basic training, you should know where you're going after basic training, where you're going to be stationed at. It just depends on what you sign with your recruiter before basic training. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. Leave some questions or comments or whatever for next week's video, or you can leave them on my Air Force Facebook page, and the link will be down below. The Facebook and the Twitter and Instagram will all be down below. Thank you for listening to me blab for however long this is, I don't know. Tally says thank you. It's a family portrait. Well, I will see you guys next time.